Today I wanted to talk about Pinterest and how you can optimize your entire Pinterest from your profile to your boards to your individually pinned images. Whether you're first starting out on Pinterest or you're just looking to optimize to drive traffic to your website or your offers, Pinterest is a great tool because it's one of the only social media sites that actually wants you to leave their site. Most social media sites will encourage you to stay on the site by engaging with other content or valuing watch time or something along those lines. Like if you've seen on Instagram Reels and TikToks, they want you to stay in the app. But the reason Pinterest is so powerful is because they want you to leave it. There are a few main places that you should be optimizing your Pinterest with SEO, which is search engine optimization. I'm going to go through some tips in order to optimize and make sure that you have a little bit of a checklist to optimize each of these things. And I'm also going to dive a little bit deeper into optimizing the individual pins and give you some tips that you might not have heard from an SEO standpoint before. The first place you want to start optimizing is your profile. Your profile is the main place that people will see if they want to follow more of your specific content. You want to make sure that you have a cover image, a profile image, your name is in your title, and you also want to make sure that you're providing what kind of value anyone who comes to view your profile is going to get or should be expecting from you. I'll throw my Pinterest profile up here so that you can see I have my name, I have some of the things that I do. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a writer, I do a lot of things, so it's hard for me to niche down. But if you are in a niche or you have a certain business or you have certain products or services, it's a little bit easier for you to niche down and say that one thing as more of a value statement. You also want to make sure that those keywords that you're using in your title are also in your description. You can call this a description or a bio, but basically you want to make sure that your keywords that you're using match in order to create consistency. For your profile image, I recommend using the same profile image that you use across other social media sites to kind of increase that brand awareness, where people will see the same image and they'll know it's you instantly based on brand recognition. If you're not sure what kind of keywords you should be using in your descriptions or titles or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I can make a video about keyword research as well. Once you have your profile optimized, you want to make boards, which is where you will pin your images. It's basically like all of your pins are little files and the boards are like your file folders. So you want to make sure that your file folders are labeled correctly so that someone who's looking for a specific thing or clicks on one of your pins can easily go and find kind of related similar pins that you've made or saved. For optimizing your boards, it's a lot like optimizing your profile header too. It's just adding in that title with keywords that you want to be found for and what people are searching for. Same with the descriptions, you want to make sure that you're using similar keywords or consistent keywords in order to rank higher in the search engine that is Pinterest. Where people usually get caught up on Pinterest SEO has to do with the individual pins. So these are your files, and these are really the main ones that you want to make sure are always optimized for search. These are typically the things that people see in their feed. This is the thing that they're searching for when you go to Pinterest and you need a recipe for a dinner party. You're searching favorite dinner party recipes. So you want your stuff to rank for whatever keywords people are searching for. Before I move into how to optimize fully an individual pin, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this video and do stuff. Is that the YouTube stuff? If you have any questions about anything I've talked today or you want a deeper dive on any of this information, also feel free to leave that in the comments below and I will do my best to make some follow-up videos if you have any questions. Now that we have our profile and our boards optimized, we can move on to the individual pins. Optimizing individual pins is where a bulk of the workload comes from, and I have 5 tips specifically to help you maximize the SEO of your individual pins. The first tip I have for you is to use high quality images. If you don't have the opportunity to do any kind of brand photography for yourself or hire that out, I would recommend using commercial rights usage images from websites like Unsplash, Pexels, Envato Elements, or anything similar where you have commercial rights to use the image. Do not go pulling random images off Google or stealing anybody else's pin images. Typically, Pinterest likes the vertical images, so use a 2:3 ratio or a 9:16 if you want it like perfectly vertical to fit on somebody's phone. When you're creating these high quality Pinterest images, I recommend creating multiple Pinterest images for the same type of content. So if you're publishing a blog, you can do one pin and call it good, or you can create 5 pins that lead to the same blog that have different layouts, different colors, different graphics, and you can kind of see which ones are working based on which images get the most click-through rate. This is just a secret little tip that I would use to do kind of your own A/B testing and see what's working and how you can optimize later in the future. This kind of goes in with the high quality image, but my second tip for images specifically for your Pinterest pins is to always include some kind of text on your image that gives people a really quick snapshot of what you're going to be talking about in your long form content that you're pointing people towards. So if you go on Pinterest, you'll notice that pretty much everybody has some kind of a header or title on their pin. And although Pinterest can't read the text that's on the image, people with eyes can. Which kind of brings me to a secret tip that not a lot of people think about, and that's to also include alt text in your image. So when you're creating a pin and you upload your image, you have your title, your description, your link, and then there is something called alt text, which stands for alternate text. And alternate text is for people who are visually impaired, or if an image isn't loading, sometimes that will show up. Having alt text also increases your SEO because it gives the search engine more to read. So if you're using certain keywords in your title on your pin, let's just take that dinner party example, and say you're making a pin that's keto recipes for a dinner party, you can use those words that were in your title for your alt text. You don't want to keyword stuff in anything, in your title, in your description, in your alt text. You never want to keyword stuff. You want to use them pretty naturally and only use a few really key search terms that people are searching for in order to feed the algorithm exactly what you're talking about. Another kind of sneaky way that I have to increase SEO for your specific image is to name the file something that the search engine can read using the keywords that you are targeting. So for example, you can have a file that just says like file blog 123, or you can have a file that says keto dinner recipes. And when you have those keywords even in your file name before you even upload that file, it gives the search engine more to read. So really what we're doing is just feeding a very word-hungry beast of Pinterest. My third tip kind of goes with the alt text. This is a little bit jumbled, but I promise it makes sense once you go through the workflow process of it. And if you want to see a full workflow process, let me know in the comments. I would love to share what my process looks like. But the third tip I have for you is don't skimp on your descriptions. Use keywords that you want to be targeted for, that people are searching for, and use them organically in your descriptions as if you're writing a little summary for your blog post. If you already have some alt text for your blog post or a snippet, just paste that in there and add a little call to action, and then also make sure you have your link. Make sure you're using the biggest keywords that you want people searching for in your headline, and then sprinkle those throughout the description to make it really cohesive. My fourth tip for optimizing Pinterest for SEO is to pay attention to trends, whether it's a seasonal trend or there's a holiday coming up that people are jumping on the bandwagon for, gift ideas, birthdays, or even just a certain trend in your niche. If you didn't know, Pinterest actually has a trends website called trends.pinterest.com, and you can go on there, and then that way you have an idea of what topics are trending and how you can kind of incorporate those into your niche, into your pins, or into your keywords. If you utilize certain trends at the right times, that could help you boost your SEO and get certain pins pushed out higher in the search engine rankings. My last tip when it comes to the individual pins is to pay attention to your analytics. Obviously, this has nothing to do with creating the pin, but it has a lot to do with how you're going to evolve your strategy in the future. So like I said at the very beginning, if you're making a bunch of pins for one post or one piece of content, hopefully you'll have some pretty good analytics of what people are clicking on, what their click-through rate is, and if there are even any comments about it. You can use these analytics to see what type of typography is working, if there's a certain color palette that people click on more. So make sure you're using your Pinterest analytics to your advantage in order to see what's working, what's not, what's getting the click-throughs, what's not, and how you can increase that conversion rate later by using similar graphics to the ones that are getting higher engagement. Hopefully these tips were helpful for you in increasing your SEO and Pinterest optimization. If you're using any of these tips or you found any of them surprising or helpful, let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions about digital marketing, graphic design, or writing a book, please feel free to let me know. My name is Lindsay Elizabeth. Thank you for watching. Bye.